it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today, zooming in a little bit more in depth on to help and provide assistance to those people who are experiencing sort of a painful smear campaign in their family, in their work environment, perhaps even from just a fiance who you've been who you've been seeing, who you've been dating, and you find that they're creating allegations against you, creating lies about you, stories about you, in essence, and really creating a whole chaos and gaslighting situation surrounding your lifestyle right now. And it's a very distressing thing when someone who you thought you could trust, you've now learned you cannot trust. Someone who maybe you have spent years of your life with, or your entire life with, and you now find that they're creating a web of pathological lies, and what is essentially known as a smear campaign that is basically performed by a narcissist or psychopath. And a lot of people ask, how do I deal with these lies, these allegations? They're trying to tell this to my neighbors, they're telling this to my other family members, they're telling lies to my other extended family members, so they're really trying to estrange you in that setting. They're trying to essentially whisper things in other family members' ears to paint a negative picture about you, which essentially is not true. Just realize, to keep things in perspective, number one, realize that this is a very common tactic for a psychopath or a narcissist, be it overt or covert narcissist. And what they're essentially doing, just keep this in mind, try to keep a very neutral, sort of indifferent position, and learn to observe, rather than react and retaliate against this sort of problematic behavior that they're exhibiting. Remember that they have a disorder, that they have a personality disorder, a behavior disorder, a sort of processing that is arising. This behavior, this smear campaign, is arising out of a couple main issues within them. Firstly, that they have an inflated sense of self-importance, self-righteousness, if you will, and coupled with a lack of empathy, which means they really have no ability to relate to the feelings, needs, wishes, or interests of another. So it's their main prerogative, it's their main goal to be the one in control, the one in power, the one who is in the authority, in the driver's seat, and above others in their family, in their environment, in their neighborhood, their community, you name it. They covet this position of power, and they will seek it incessantly. In fact, they will do this really in a sort of out of control sort of manner, and they will go to great lengths to maintain that facade, to maintain that position in a family, to keep a sort of air of superiority or haughtiness, or that they are quote unquote right, and that they are then criticizing others, condemning others for behaviors which they have not even committed. But realize that they are engaging in these behaviors to keep you down and to keep you essentially as a negative supply source. Because if these people, either psychopathic or narcissistic, they will go to great lengths to try to smear your reputation for a number of reasons. A, they really get aroused, they get a real surge out of being in power and control and being superior, being number one, being right, that whole conglomerate of personality dynamics. So, like Sam Yadkin says, it's an incessant need to have this supply. So they don't ever, they're not ever able to spill their guts out on the table, come to terms, make amends, work things through. In fact, very much to the contrary, to the opposite. They really, really relish sort of keeping all that swept under the rug, much to the dismay of others, because situations they don't ever want to admit where they could, where they've done their wrong. They're not ever going to say, I'm sorry. They're not going to own up to their shortcomings, their inadequacies. In fact, very much to the opposite. they're going to cover that up and go to extraordinary extraordinary lengths to accomplish this. And this can mean basically creating a smear campaign against you, because in their mind, they're just upping their game to keep you that much more out of the contender status with them. So realize that it's really just a mechanism for them to maintain their posse, their supply source, so that you can constantly feel like you're being threatened, fearful, uncomfortable. See, it constantly keeps you thinking about them. And I really try to emphasize this in people who are dealing with a narcissist or psychopath, that they do not want to allow you to individuate, to have your own life, to separate, to be your own person, to live just, a normal life. They want you to constantly be thinking about them, whether it's positive, whether it's negative. They constantly want the attention on them. It's a very sort of strange thing, because a lot of people, they wonder, why would they need this? I don't need this. I don't even think like that. Realize you're contending with somebody who thinks very differently about themselves and their place in the world and where they essentially want to be. So just kind of when you're encountering the smear campaign, take a step back, get perspective. Realize it's just a control tactic. It's a manipulation tactic that's designed to keep you afraid, keep you intimidated, keep you under control, keep under their manipulation, and it's meant to be a brainwashing and keep you under that fear and guilt and obligation to them, and constantly be thinking about them. So as I always emphasize, keep that neutral stance, that indifferent stance. Do not react. Do not, feel threatened by that, because it's all lies. If there is sort of legal involvement, or they're making allegations that they're going to change this and change that document, then absolutely get the interdisciplinary team that you need in place, be it legal representation, filing police reports, things of that nature, just to protect yourself. And do not listen to their allegations that you're crazy, you're off your rocker, you don't know what you're talking about. Just let it wash down your back, because it's really just designed to throw you off your base, which is what you really need to tune into, which is your own internal center, your own truth. Keep that really in front of you and clear. That is going to be your best advocate. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.